Fuck that shit. Hold on. I got to start this motherfucking record over again. Wait a minute. Fuck that shit. Still on this motherfucking record. Yeah, that's what's happening.
That is right. Episode 6 of With All Due Respect, the sporting show that will soon be the greatest in the country. This week, what an emotional week of sport it has been, Daniel.
Very emotional.
Very emotional. As always, we'll get straight into it. Brought to you by our great sponsor, The Oracle, owner of the Village Sport Balmain, a great store. Speaking about Balmain, Daniel, interesting week. But we're not going to start with that. We're going to get into that real quick. We're going to start with the headlines segment. And the Storm have been struck down once again.
Worrying.
A horrid performance. It's a great use of word. You've stole my word there. Horrid performance. Horrible performance. Horrible performance highlighted by our 17 errors and 63% completion rate. And the thing is, with this, the Titans scored off every error. We would drop the ball, ran the field. We dropped the ball again. They'd score on the next set. We dropped the ball in the first 5 minutes of the second half, and the front rower scores off it. I could not believe what I was seeing. No effort again. Bellamy raising that again. But the only positive coming from the game, Jonah Pezzett.
Very, very well.
I mean, my God, the kid can play. I mean, I have been calling this for a very long time now. Craig listened to the video we made. He listened. He made the change. I've called it. There's not much else I can say. He finished the game with a try, a couple of try assists. This makes me think, I thought I'd be more concerned after the result. I mean, our attack was missing multiple players, but at the end of the day, it was our defense. 38 points. Yes, it was a fast track in the Gold Coast, extreme conditions, weather-wise. 38 points is a disgrace. We're chasing the game the whole game. The only thing I can take away from this, though, is the Pezzett performance, and that within the future, while Pappenhausen's out, I think when Munster comes back, he has to play fullback, and Pezzett has to play 6. Wishart played 5 minutes. It's a great sign. Played 5 minutes. We basically played the game with 3 bench players, so I can't see Wishart in the side anymore. But Pezzett has to start while Paps is out, and I'm hearing it's going to be a very long time. He won't be back in round 8. Maybe he will. Who knows? But Munster has to start at fullback. Pezzett at 6. Hughes at 7. And I think that'll be our team moving forward. Daniel, thoughts?
I just think it's probably... When was the last time Melbourne lost a game and scored 32 points?
34.
34 points, and they come home with a loss.
It's terrible.
There's definitely... This is the year with that Melbourne shift that everyone's been talking about for about 6 or 7 years.
Since Smith left.
It's happening.
I don't think you can't say that.
I think it is happening. You're 1 and 2 out of 3 games.
It's not happening. Maybe.
And it's a transition year for the club. It is. It is a transition year for the club.
It's a great use of words.
You've got Munster and Pap, but it's just the uncertainty around and the expectations that they have to fill, the shoes that they have to fill are immense.
I mean, you could tell in the Titans game, Jerome Hughes and Harry Green they're literally carrying the side.
They are.
They're carrying the side on their back. They're involved in everything. Harry Green 3 try assists. Hughes, he scored, set up a couple, but transition year, Daniel, that's a big call.
It is a transition year.
That's a big call.
It is. Moving on to my first headline, this is the headline. The Tigers show a 10-minute glimpse.
Glimpse. You bring this up earlier with me before, Daniel. Great word.
So we already knew Sunday's clash was going to be a loss to the Dogs.
I mean, that says a lot.
That was known. It was expected. It was prepared for, and it was taken. But there is lots to take away. Lots. Wakeham fits. I think Wakeham, when he came on, he added that,
spark.
Last week, he was a spark. Last week against Newcastle, there were so many times where Brooks would run literally sideways, looking for someone to just run straight onto the ball, and no one would. Wakeham does that, and the Tigers score a length of the field try. Wakeham, he added that sort of composure to the team. And I think this week leading up to the Storm next week, which we'll talk about soon, Tim Sheens and the coaching staff should only focus on that that 10 minutes. I don't think we need to look at the rest of the game. They've looked at the rest how they played the first half the past 2 weeks. I think we just need to focus on that because playing footy like that will cause problems.
Especially against the Melbourne Storm side.
We scored 3 tries in 3 sets. That is what they need to focus on. There was finally some sort of connection with the spine. The third try of that 3-set run was Coruscant to Brooks to Staines. All spine players. But that's what they need to focus on this week. They don't need to focus on, this try was soft. Adam Dewey is really starting to concern me.
W.A.D.R.
Really starting to concern me. The intercept he threw, it's like we don't. It's a lack of experience. Like on that last tackle scenario, you're throwing that risky pass. They run a full length intercept. You need to kick that ball, get a repeat set.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening on that right edge when Dewey passes that. He tries to force it, and what does it result in? You kick that ball, get a repeat set. So the Tigers might have scored, but they're not conceding. If they don't concede that try, the Tigers win that game.
It's about building pressure, Daniel. And like you said, you can't try to score off every play, especially when you're the Tigers and you're not getting down that end most of the time. You've got to stay down there.
The first half, I don't know if you saw.
Didn't see.
I just saw it today actually. I didn't watch this part. Appy took a quick tap.
Yeah.
At the end of the first half. He's through. If you're a Tigers fan, you're thinking Appy's going to get his first 4-pointer for the Tigers.
Yeah.
The ball literally flies. I don't know how he dropped it. It was like a balloon got popped out of his hands. So that's the stuff that I think in preparation for Amy Park, they need to ignore. They need to ignore that. No, they need to address it, but they need to focus on that 10 minutes, 3 sets and 3 tries. That is unbelievable. And that is what we need. If they can play that for not even the whole game, 60 minutes this week will be a chance against Melbourne, I think.
Speaking about the game, Daniel, are we going to get into that later or are we going to touch on it now?
We'll get into that later.
Well, moving on, I'll go. The Dolphins win again. I mean, it's getting. It's
unbelievable.
One of 2 teams to be 3-0.
I didn't think they were. My take was that they wouldn't win. They'd win 5.
You said they'd be close to the bottom. They're tying for the minor premiership right now with the Broncos. Kafusi going to the judiciary. He's suspended for the Queensland Derby next week, which I want to get your predictions on. But if he does, it's a big loss. He is still my Smokey for the second row of the year, Dally M second row of the year. What do you think about it's a big loss, but obviously the Queensland Derby next week, Brisbane versus the Dolphins, it's one of the biggest games of the year now.
It is.
No one thought it would be, but it's one of the biggest games of the year now.
I like how they've hyped it up. The Broncos are probably going into this game thinking we need to shut these guys up. Like this is our city, this is our stadium, this is our. We want to be. We can't let the new club be above us in the ladder. We can't let them beat us in the derby.
Nah.
But the Dolphins will want to come in and just take over the joint.
Yep.
So that's why I think there's actually a good amount of hype. It gives me South Roosters vibes.
Not yet for me. Not
as much, but in future, like that, literally the same city. There's Cowboys, Broncos. This is more than that. This is more than that rivalry. I do like, it'll be a packed house as well.
They're expecting 50,000 at Suncorp
I do
Stadium.
like Brisbane though.
I've got a feeling Brisbane will knock them off the park. I think the Dolphins will get a reality check. I think Brisbane may win by 20 plus.
But as Wayne Bennett said, this is the easiest game. These are the easiest games to coach for because everyone wants to play. Everyone's motivated.
Yeah.
He's not going to have to worry about how much effort are we going to put in, how much are we going to play. He knows that they're going to want to win and they're going to want to stay. If they win, are they outright first? I think they are.
Most definitely.
Moving on, my next headline. We addressed it last week in That's Not Ridiculous.
Yeah, what is it?
We talked about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys are falling off.
They are. You said that they won't make the top 4.
I'd be surprised if they make the top 6 at this rate.
Whoa. Okay, just relax.
They lose to the Warriors at home in a game that Todd Payton, in preseason, definitely looked at his calendar and put a W next to that game.
It's the week of the upsets.
Definitely put a W next to that game. It's no dig at the Warriors. They outplayed the Cowboys in every aspect of the game.
In North Queensland.
It was like watching Sean Johnson. What a return to form. He was exceptional.
He was. Played well.
But for the Cowboys, their success last year was built off their defense. And this, I don't know what's happened. It's nowhere near where it was.
Well,
nowhere near.
I think you're right, and I think they're getting a bit complacent, perhaps a bit cocky.
I think it was 12-0.
To the Warriors, yes. Oh, well, close to.
They were up, and then they just the Warriors wingers were having a field day out there. Montoya and Kossi, it was like they were playing under sixes against.
The Warriors looked stronger. They looked fitter. They looked quicker. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the far North Queensland camp, but danger signs, as you're saying, Daniel, losing to the Warriors, you're right. Peyton definitely would have seen this game as a win during the preseason. Chad Townsend, I was watching the press conference post-game. Chad Townsend said a few players need to have accountability. Valentine Holmes, I think he is underdone.
He is.
He is underdone.
And it just makes me think, you look at the Cowboys last year, people had them in the bottom 4 last year.
And then this year, people have a minor premiers like myself.
So they had no expectations last year, so there was no pressure.
Zero.
This year, people are saying I think they're going to come first. I think they might win the comp. They last year they loved the underdog story. This year they're supposed to be one of the top dogs, and they're folding. They are folding.
The big dog's taking a piss. What? Moving on. South Roosters spectacle continues, Daniel. It continues. Now, what a game it was.
It was great.
I have no idea how South Sydney lost this game.
Yeah.
I have zero idea how they lost this game. 10 points up, all the momentum.
Look, I was there.
Yeah.
And about 5 minutes before kickoff, I changed my tip from South to Roosters.
Wow.
Because,
I did tip the Roosters as well.
I changed it, and I thought, at 12-0 to South, I thought, this is over.
Yeah.
This is done.
Uh-huh.
They're running laps around them.
Riot.
Especially just the passage of play that Walker created on the edges had the Roosters stunned.
They were targeting Jackson Paulo. My key takeaways from the game, Daniel, is that Ilias still has a lot to prove in the bigger games. Multiple errors in the big moments. He dropped the ball a lot, kicked the ball out in the full here and there.
Yeah, the second half, there was about 10 minutes where it was a knock on every second set.
I mean, we're raving about in round 1 against a Sharks side.
That's depleted.
I mean, we need to relax. People need to relax. I mean, South Sydney fans.
There's talk of Origin.
No, there wasn't.
Buzz.
But well, there you go, Daniel. Buzz Rothfield saying Ilias will play Origin. That says a lot. Why did South? Yes, I understand why they let go of Jackson Barlow, but why the hell would you let him go to the Roosters? I think they shouldn't have let him go to the Roosters. A rival team that they're going to be up against in the later year, in the season September. He scores 2 tries against them, Daniel. That's a total of 8 points. If he's not in that team, Momirovski probably plays. Momirovski doesn't score those 2 tries. And that's what I'm trying to say. If Paulo doesn't play, that's minus 8 points. South win the game. That's why I don't know why they would let him go to a Roosters team. He won them the game in the end.
Yeah.
And I believe he was waving to the Burrow as well when he scored. What was the reception like at the ground?
Wow. It was very hostile towards South, but then... So South ran out first, and there was boos galore. But then it seems like the boos for the Roosters were louder. It's great being at Allianz because it's 50-50.
Yeah,
the fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we need to talk about Joseph Suwali. He is a hog.
Suwali.
He is a hog. I don't think I saw him pass the ball once.
He's a strong runner, Daniel. He's a strong runner.
But there's times where he needs to pass the ball.
Yeah,
and he just doesn't. He's a very, very selfish player.
Well, that's leading on from my point. I think Paulo, I don't know why they let him go to the Roosters. I mean, yes, I'm only saying this now because of what happened on the weekend. I wouldn't have said it before, but maybe it's one they regret. Now, Latrell Mitchell. Latrell Mitchell. I mean,
I don't know why. Why did they take that penalty goal?
Don't know, Daniel. Don't know. But Trell Missy, where is he? And this is going to lead me into the next segment, which I'm proud to bring. It's called Latrell Watch. Now, every week, this is going to be a segment where I'm going to analyze and depict and critique Latrell Mitchell's performance every week because he is underperforming. He is underwhelming. I had him as my Dalian pick selection. And I think he should win the comp this year with his beloved South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, this week, he took on the Roosters, we all know, copped a heavy loss. It's not just a game against the Roosters for Latrell Mitchell. It's a game against his former team. his former teammates who are now bitter rivals. He looked sharp early, don't get me wrong. Great try assist for the Johnston try. Great cutout ball. One of the only stats he actually collected. 5 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists to go with that. Had 1 hit up the whole game. He was there, but he really wasn't. My Trell meter rating is a 2 out of 10 for the performance.
Oh, wow.
Trell Missy, where is he? I'll say that again. Next week against Manly, he has to step up. I mean, Tedesco, I think Latrell has to focus more on those fullback battles. I think Tedesco won the battle on the weekend. Now, this week he's going up against Tom Trbojevic. Now, Latrell, prove how good you are. Tommy Turbo, he's back. He's healthy. Not 100%. I'd go close to the 93% mark. Tommy Turbo's health. But it's a big opportunity for Latrell Mitchell to not to be lazy and to get up for the game. I don't think he realises that he has to play well for South to win every game.
Yes.
He has to play extremely well. I mean, it's similar for other teams and other players. You look at the Roosters, Tedesco has to be that great player to win. Melbourne Storm, Harry Grant, Jerome Hughes, Munster has to have pretty much, especially now, Munster has to have the game of his life every game for the Storm to be a chance to win every game. Latrell Watch, that's the segment. We're going to get straight into it. It's like a Skip Bayless, Russell Westbrook sort of thing. I don't want that relation. I don't want the same relationship between me and Latrell. I think we'll be great mates. I think we could be great mates.
I disagree.
I think we could be great mates. But there, that's the first Latrell thing, and let's go straight into the next segment, Daniel. That's
not ridiculous.
Not
That's not
ridiculous.
ridiculous to
Would
say
you
that.
like to kick us away with this one?
I will.
Double D, hit me.
My first take this week is that the Tigers will beat Melbourne in round 4.
Can you stop?
They will
Shut
beat
up.
Melbourne. I can feel it.
Shut up.
I can feel it. They've got something. The Tigers have something that they haven't had yet this year. And it's something to build off. And like we talked about,
10 minutes.
it's that
10
glimpse.
minutes.
It's that 10-minute glimpse.
10 minutes, Daniel, against the Melbourne
The
Storm
3
will
tries in
shrivel.
3 sets.
You will crack.
The 3 tries in 3 sets is what they need to focus on, like I said, because it showcased, I'm repeating myself, it showcased an actual link within the spine. And then that 4th try, Appy Brooks Staines. That's what we need. We need that chemistry. That's what we've been lacking. And if they could do it for a game's length, they'll run rings around the Storm. They will run rings around them, and it won't even just be a problem for the Storm. If the Tigers can get into this, it'll be problems for the league.
No, not the league,
It'll
Daniel.
be problems for the league.
Look, I'm happy to. I'll come to terms that the Storm right now. If you beat the Storm right now, it's not as good as if you beat them last year.
Well, it is as good for the Tigers considering they haven't won a game.
If the Tigers lose, if the Tigers beat the Storm, but we're guaranteed to beat South the week after, I'm taking that every day of the week.
This has nothing to do with the point.
But I think Friday night footy back at Amy Park, considering what happened last time where they were against the Bulldogs, the Storm owe the Melbourne members a lot, and I think it's a great opportunity to play well. Am I concerned about the game? Am I concerned? Yes. I'm a little bit nervous because, as you said, the last 10 minutes, it's not like it was the first 10 minutes and you faded off. It was the last 10 minutes. So realistically, you're coming in red hot. Realistically, you should win this game.
Oh, don't start. No, we shouldn't.
You
The Tigers
should
not
win this game.
Stop. The only thing
I'm shocked that you're not the favourites. I'm shocked.
The only thing that concerns me is Sheens kind of has a tendency to throw some strange things out there, like the change from Dewey to halfback. I watched the press conference to fullback. Sorry, and then the reporters are asking Sheens, was that pre-planned? Was that pre-planned? He's like, no comment. So they've just thought of that in their coach's box and just thought, F it.
That's what I think. The Tigers are unorganised. They've had all pre-season to sort this out.
I think this
Sort
year,
it
I
out.
think Laurie will still be out.
Is he dropped?
No,
or?
he's injured.
Oh, I thought they dropped him.
Laurie will still be out, so we'll have Staines out the back. And then I think Wakeham will start at the 7.
That's music to my ears.
Because but when Wakeham came on this week, Brooks was the 6. And Brooks and Wakeham, like, they had a bit of a connection. Like, Brooks needs to be able to run, which he's not really doing at the 7. But that was the talk last year. Brooks should be the 6 and Hastings should be the 7.
But Brooks is running just for the sake of running. He's not.
But he's running and he's putting, he put Wakeham through a hole and we scored a full field try. Luke Brooks put Brooks through a hole, score a full field try.
Yep.
It's a strange scenario for the coaches because do I think Wakeham could have the effect he had against the Bulldogs for 80 minutes? No. He
Former team as well. He's always when he gets back at him.
It's one that I think we just need to identify who goes where. And once that happens, big problems for the league.
Speaking about Tigers halfbacks, Daniel, my first take here is that I think Jonah Pezzett should be signed and will be signed by the Tigers. Now, the kid can play. He can play. I've said it for a while. Under 19s last year, State of Origin man of the match. Great performance in the victory. He has re-signed with the Storm until 2025, I believe, the end of. But more game time, he should leave earlier. I mean, I believe Braith Anasta is his manager, and we know Braith. He gets deals done.
Saw Braith last night, actually.
Braith gets deals done. I mean,
I think
he got the Munster deal done. He'll get this deal done. I would love him to stay at Melbourne, but I think for him and his career, he has to leave. He won't get as much playing time when Munster comes back, and we have a full like Papenhuyzen and co come back. It's unfortunate, but I've been raving about this guy for a while now. The Brooks era has to be over, in my opinion. It has to be over, and I think Pezzett, with Benji's help, could be special. He impressed me that much on the weekend. I saw glimpses, like you were saying, the word glimpses of Nathan Cleary.
I think the biggest concern for the Tigers in terms of halves right now is Dewey's only signed for another year.
We've talked about this.
Exactly.
Talked about this.
So I think Dewey will be out before Brooks is.
No,
That's
think
what
Brooks.
I'm worried about.
But the thing is, Brooks and W.A.D.R have been together for a long time. It like 4 or 3 years.
Not really.
Playing together,
Not
3 years.
but not in the halves. Like last year, you got to think Dewey was in and out of the halves because Hastings was there. Now's his time to assert himself in that 6 jumper.
And then Pezzett comes in at the 7.
But I don't know. I don't know about Brooks. I was saying this to someone the other day. I'm genuinely convinced that if Luke Brooks had the same career on say a South Sydney Rabbitohs, he'd be playing Origin. It's like the Tigers club, the club
They're
of the
his kryptonite. The Tigers are his kryptonite.
It's not even just him. Like Coruscant and Papali'i are nowhere near their last year form at the Tigers now. Like it's like we're making players worse. Anyway, moving on to my second take.
What do you got coming out?
It's another one for round 4, and it's that the Warriors will beat the Bulldogs 13+.
Where's the game?
2 words, Mount Smart.
Wow, whoa,
2 words,
13
Mount Smart.
plus.
And watch the game of them against the Cowboys.
That's a big margin.
It was 2010 like from the Warriors. I thought it was Sean Johnson.
2011, you mean 2011?
Apologies. Sean Johnson really impressed me. I thought I'd gone back in time. The right foot step that he was putting on, it was making me think Auckland Nines.
Who's the favourite going into the match? Are the Bulldogs the favourites?
I'm not too sure. I'd say they probably would be.
So you're going to put some money on that. That'd be good odds.
13+.
13 plus.
Great odds no matter what.
Yep.
And we all know that the Warriors love to put on a show for that home crowd. They haven't played at Mount Smart this year. It'll be a packed house, I think. That guy's probably going to be in front of the coach's box doing a shoey. And
That's OG.
I think they'll get up 13+ over the Dogs.
Big call.
It's going to be tough. The Dogs going from 32 degrees. It's going to be freezing in New Zealand. Nighttime in New Zealand. It's a different. They have to acclimatise to that. It's going to be tough.
And I was about to say one word: acclimatisation. 2 words: Reece Walsh. Daniel, my goodness, he will win the fullback of the year this year. He has to. The kid is very freaky. Did you say no?
I said, wow.
Oh, the kid is very freaky. Big win on the weekend. 2 tries, 1 try assist, 4 tackle breaks, 1 line break, 2 line break assists. Queensland Origin camp is a certainty for this guy. It's a certainty.
Yes, for sure.
The Mam connection, the Ezra Mam and Reece Walsh connection is dangerous. I was going to say maybe they put Mam in camp as well, but Cherry Evans still got a couple more years in him, I think. Mam has to be involved in the camp. It's going to be a dangerous connection for a very long time. The numbers he's putting up, I mean, he may even go on to win the Dally M medal, Reece Walsh. Yeah. I'm not going to go as far to say that he will, but he may. Keyword there, may, not will. Okay, people? He may win the Dally M medal. Every time he gets the ball, it's electric. And he's 21 years old?
Something like that.
21 years old, but God damn it. Reece, stop cramping up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. You're gonna tear a calf, Reece, and you're gonna inhibit your Dally M chances.
He's gonna hurt himself.
Stop with the Superman jumps, Reece. Just stick to playing footy, mate. And I think if he gets in that Queensland camp just for those few weeks, Billy Slater, If Slater gets his hands on this kid, oh my goodness, and I'm not saying that in an inappropriate manner.
Whoa.
Slater gets his hands on this kid, my God, he will be a problem. And I think it'll be a saving grace. The fact that the Broncos let him go and got him back. Jesus, if you're a Warriors fan, you are spewing.
Well, I'd also say if you're a Dolphins fan, you're spewing. Because didn't the Warriors not let him go to Redcliffe?
Forgot about that. They denied him to leave to the Dolphins. And wow.
I'd be even more. Well, I mean, you've got the Hammer, so you wouldn't be too upset. The Hammer's playing great.
You'd be vomiting, but you wouldn't be projectile vomiting.
No.
Correct. Moving on to the JDS 3, where Daniel will be taking us through the NBA and his top 3 MVP candidates. What a subject that is.
Yes, we are back with the JDS3, and as we've said this week, I'll be going through my top 3 NBA MVP candidates. Straight into it. At number 3, is it Julius Randle? No, it's not. It's Nikola Jokic. I like to call him the snooze fest. The most boring player in the league besides DeMar DeRozan. He's a great player though. Great stats. But if he wins this year, he's practically winning the award for what Embiid did 2 years ago. Best player on the best team, and Embiid didn't win it 2 years ago. So why should Jokic win it this year? At number 2, it's Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks. It's pretty self-explanatory. He's unbelievable on both ends of the floor. He carries the Bucks even with their roster, which does add to his most valuable player resume. He does bring great value to them. They're pretty much, they're a completely different team without him. He's of great value, but I'll tell you who's of more value. At number 1 is Joel Embiid. He's been snubbed for 2 years, in my opinion, and to be honest, it's about damn time. The man is averaging 33.5 points per game. On a team with James Harden, he's also averaging 10 rebounds. James Harden, who's known as a bit of a, selfish player, but he's still averaging 33. It's time this man gets his flowers. Jokic and Giannis are all numbers, which Embiid, I know I've just brought up numbers myself on him, but he makes the Sixers what they are. He's talking about value. He's more valuable to the Sixers than Giannis is to the Bucks. He's more valuable to the Sixers than Jokic is to the Nuggets, and that is why he will win the most valuable player this season.
Interesting call, Daniel. The MVP this year is a great topic. It's an interesting topic, and it's going to be very controversial to see who takes home the trophy. Well, that is the end of, with all due respect, episode 6, episode say. And this weekend is going to be a big weekend, Daniel.
It's going to be big.
Storm Tigers. What a game that will be, and it may inflict the emotions going into next week's episode. As always, people, like, comment, share, subscribe. Go to our Instagram, follow our TikTok. We are posting clips every day of the episode, stuff you may have missed. Have a great week, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the week of sport, and we'll see you next week. Let's try.
Let's try.